Hello, guys. I am Shane Davis, close to going on 30-year comic book veteran. I'm here with Yanzi Lynn, who also works in comics with me. And we have to address something today. There's a little bit of back and forth between me and Razorfist over what is, I don't even think he knew, an early Travis Charest piece of artwork from some of his early work at DC Comics. Now, I myself personally have worked at DC Comics for over 20 some years, and in that time I came from the licensing department because I had a flashy enough style that my style was there for products of Batman primarily, stuff like that. But today, a little bit of interesting back and forth. Razorfist is somebody in the YouTube sphere. I think I've actually been on stream one time with him, with Ethan Van Sciver, trying to raise money for one of his books. And I saw this post, and I don't know, it kind of hit me in a weird spot. Now, at first, I didn't even know Travis drew this. At second glance, I could tell right away that was Travis's artwork with around tell signs to Robin, some of the folds in the clothing, stuff like that. 90s comics isn't as bad as you've been told. It's worse. I kind of was like, well, this idea that 90s comics is bad, let me first explain that and how that has been nothing but a detriment. That narrative has been nothing but a detriment to the American comic book industry. For people who don't know, ever since I've been in comics, I've heard every DC Comics editor, every Marvel editor say the 90s comics were horrible. It's something that they wanted everybody to believe. Why? Because they don't want to spend the money for it. So it basically, for people who don't know, in the 90s, comics were selling so crazy that Image Comics was able to form. And Marvel and DC, basically mainly Marvel, lost all these show horse artists that were keeping the lights on. They basically built and farmed their new competition. Image Comics would come to rule in a way and make more money than they ever could at Marvel Comics. So Marvel Comics took a stance that we're never going to promote artists as big and hard as we did Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane. That they're never doing that again. And this is where this argument doesn't hold up, right? Is editors go, the 90s comics suck, therefore anything I'm doing is going to be better than the 90s comic. That's not true. And here's why. Marvel and DC have constantly had to bring these guys back to the table. Most notably, Heroes Reborn, right? Whether you love that project or hate it, that doesn't matter in this argument. What matters is Marvel and DC broke out big checkbooks, did onslaught to get these characters moved off the board, aka dead, just so Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee could come back and make Marvel money, because despite Marvel and DC saying these 90s artists suck, they come back begging for them to come make them money while they're losing Spider-Man to Sony and all that stuff. They're like, can you please take these properties that right now we haven't sold off and make them relevant again with your 90s artwork, although we said it sucked when you guys walked away. Now, this narrative would continue in comics, and I would actually hear this in the offices at DC Comics. Rob's over there working on the Teen Titans one-shot or something like that. The editors right there in the office are making fun of it. Bob Schreck made fun tons of times of Hush because Jim Lee was on it for so long. And he's like, look at this. This isn't Batman. Look at this. This isn't Batman. And I would hear this before Hush even printed because I was working around that bat office. And I'm talking the people at DC Comics in charge of it are talking shit about Jim Lee's Batman. What would it do? It would come to make tons of money, and Jim Lee's artwork would be on t-shirts forever. Because why? The truth is, the proof is in the pudding. What people like, the customers, they like. It doesn't matter how hard you say the 90s suck. It doesn't matter. If customers like it, they like it. That's it. And this is a really limp attempt. I know at the time, I think it was Tommy Castello was working on Batman. And I remember Bob Schreck saying, this guy gets Batman. Look at him. He's spooky as fuck. And I'm like, it's a silhouette of Batman. I'm like, yeah, it's a silhouette of Batman. It's spooky, but that Jim Lee Batman looks pretty badass, man. It looks like he's going to kick my teeth out. So I go into a little bit of a back and forth here with Razorfist, and I tried to point out that with examples that, just so you know, Razorfist, because most people might not recognize that, that is some of Travis Charest's earliest work, which is great in comparison to what DC was publishing on half their monthly titles at the time, which I will stand by that. I will say that Robin piece is better than Daryl Banks. I doubt you understand this, but Travis Charest is a comic book god. Every artist starts somewhere. Now, I'm not thinking I'm saying anything out of place, and I'm thinking, you know, maybe Razorfist is a LARPing into comics, and maybe he doesn't even recognize as Travis Charest because it's some of his earliest work. And then here we get another hot response from Razorfist, none of which changes that this art sucks ass through a garden hose. The other thing, and again, I had said this before, is you kind of have to look at what was to the left of this artwork and the right of this artwork at DC Comics. And you can't just say, oh, well, Dark Knight Returns was coming out somewhere around this. I don't think it was. But just for example, you can't just go to the classic and go, oh, this was in that same era, and that means this, or Nightfall was coming out, and that means this. You kind of can't look at it that way. You literally would have to go look at what DC Comics was publishing throughout that entire month and say, where was this at on the barometer? And this is where people like to cherry pick things and make these arguments that the 90s suck. And that's Travis's probably some of his earliest work. Every artist knows Travis Charest is probably one of the best living, hyper-detailed line artwork comic artists in the industry that really doesn't do a lot of anything. I think his last book he did was with Mark Millar, and I don't think Mark Millar is saying Travis Charest's art sucks ass out of a garden hose. And this is where I just kindly say, I don't know. I think Travis has a future. And this post had been deleted, the suck ass through a garden hose or whatever. It's not showing up. But I go, you know, this is that. And this is a page from Razorfist's book that he put out, Ghosts of the Badlands or something like that. A book that I said on stream and told people, hey, yeah, you should go buy this. Now, I'm not sitting here attacking this artwork, but I am sliding it next to the artwork he's shaming. And I'm like, is this 90s stuff garbage, or comparatively put together this? I don't know, man. It's like you kind of have to self-reflect a little bit when you out here taking these blind shots. And you can see that beautiful cable in the corner there by Travis Charest today. So then that brings us to this hot take that I guess Razorfist decided to delete, which I'm kind of like, wow. He goes, that's a preview page from Indiegogo, not final art. Okay, so then he goes, that's a preview page from Indiegogo, not final art. So I guess that, you know, he's up for art changes or whatever, that it's not what you were buying. That's fine. And the artist is George, not me, you talent-free fuckwit. Okay, so I didn't even bring my artwork into this at all. At all did I bring any of my books or my artwork. I'm just sliding together the artwork he's shaming of Travis Charest and a page from a book of his own. And he goes, here, have some final art. Oh my God. There's a reason Ghosts of the Badlands sold more copies than any comic you've ever promoted. I doubt that's true. Superman Earth 1, Volume 1 was a New York Times bestseller for 40 some odd weeks. Yes, that's Superman. Yes, that's that. But let's talk about my crowdfunding stuff. According to Razorfist, Travis Charest's early art sucks, and I'm a talent-free fuckwit. For people, no, Razorfist is saying I am without talent, that I have zero talent. All right. Inglorious Rex has made the, let's talk about the numbers then. Inglorious Rex has made the 300K benchmark 3 times around so far. Glorious Rex 1 was $303,000, and Glorious Rex 3 ended at $301,000. I think I had like maybe 7,000 YouTube subscribers back when I was funding Inglorious Rex 1. You have over 300,000 subscribers, and you raised not even 350K. By the way, I sat on one of those streams with EVS helping you raise money for your book. And today I'm a talent-free fuckwit. So I want to talk a little bit about the YouTube stuff because people are going to say, yeah, you had help from Comicsgate. Absolutely. I was part of this indie comic community and a lot of help, a lot of channels I'd been on too. With Razorfist, though, he had Friday Night Tights in that crowd also pushing his book. So in the end, it doesn't really matter. I guess the big gotcha on me is that you raised $50,000 more than I have. That's it. But you have 300,000 subscribers. So how did this navigate between being about artwork and the quality of 90s versus today, and me just pointing out an example and sliding them next to each other, a page from his book, to about who sells and makes more money? Now, this is a thing that oftentimes was the big rah-rah point for Ripperverse and Eric July. I made millions of dollars on my books, therefore they're great. You made millions of dollars before people read them. ISOM 1 made something like $4 million. ISOM 3 made $600,000. I mean, that's a huge drop-off, right? And some of the books right now are at an all-time low. But this is a really bad YouTuber mentality. I was entertaining an artistic conversation that then went to, basic, I don't even want to know what I would call it, but basic insults, calling me a talent-free fuckwit. And even if you believe that, it's kind of proven false. Winning Wizard Awards, Diamond Awards, New York Times bestsellers list, having statues based off my artwork, characters I've created in Lego video games, Injustice video games, cartoons and animations, whether it be Justice League Action or even Lego movies. This is kind of proven false that I'm not talentless, because guess what? The mainstream has consumed my product. Characters I have built and designed through talent have proven to be intellectual IP that means a lot to the company and go other places. I have also worked at Legendary making comics for Hollywood. So again, this is kind of proven false. My stuff has been animated in the DC Game Online, whatever, the DC Universe Online video game, voiced by Mark Hamill. Again, proven false and I'm talentless. Probably the reason he deleted this tweet. But what is this conversation about? Is it about money? Is it about talent? What is it? Because I was just talking about entertaining your conversation on Travis Charest's artwork sucks. Ask the Regardin hose. The reality is, in my theory on this, is Razorfist is doing the same technique Marvel does and DC did. And they still do to this day, even though they've proven this themselves that they need Jim Lee to draw for them. They need Rob Liefeld to come back for them and stuff like this. Over the years, over 20 some years, these companies need these guys back. But this idea is a real simple technique. You say the 90s comics suck, therefore, if that good shit was shit, and I can call that stuff shit, then what I'm doing today is better because I said it is. It's an indirect way of saying my stuff is better than that. Because you're making a comic, and if you say that shit, well, oh shit, he must be cooking something better. And it's a very lazy, soft technique in trying to sell a comic. It's actually one of the weakest techniques in selling a product, is saying that product sucks. You haven't proven your product's better. You're just telling me that sucks. But wait, you're selling a product, but you say that sucks. Well, you must have a better product. And you'll find a lot of times, I think Eric July is a great example of that, a Razorfist with the artwork I put up. I don't think that's necessarily true. And if anybody knows my artwork, I think I'm far from being called a talentless fuck. And I would think any artist should think not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but maybe 5 times from doing any work with somebody that can easily pivot from you rah-rahing selling their book to just calling you a talentless fuck because Travis's artwork doesn't look that bad laid next to a page from your book. If you guys will hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification. If you guys haven't yet, please consider backing Annatomic. Right now, this is a book that's not drawn by me. It's only written by me and Yanzi, drawn by Anthony Gonzalez Clark, and we got Aaron Elfecci on this project too. Beautiful Dale Keown cover. Between both Indiegogo and 9 Lives Comics, we are almost at $140,000, guys. Please make sure to grab a copy. We are going to be pulling this down probably around the end of the first week, second week in November, because we're going to print. We are in the lettering stage now and getting ready to do pre-press, and we're off to the printers. So, guys, make sure you secure a copy of this, and I'll leave you guys with a trailer for this smash hit comic coming to you from 9 Lives Comics.
If fighting was a god, I would worship him. I would bow to him. I would pray for victory. For he only grants opportunities. But behind every god lurks a devil. And the devil wants me to take a dive. My name is Annatomic. And this is how my legend was made.